The pharmaceutical industry just received the ultimatum of a lifetime. President Donald Trump has declared war on Big Pharma's price gouging schemes, and he's given them exactly 60 days to comply or face the full force of the federal government. This isn't just another political promise. This is a direct confrontation with an industry that has been robbing American families blind for decades, while offering dirt-cheap prices to every other country on Earth. What you're about to hear will shock you about how much you've been overpaying for your medications and why Trump's latest move could save American families thousands of dollars every single year. On July 31, 2025, President Trump sent individually crafted letters to 17 of the world's largest pharmaceutical giants, including Pfizer, Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson, Merck, AstraZeneca, and Novo Nordisk. These weren't polite requests, they were ultimatums. Each letter outlined exactly what these companies must do to stop their predatory pricing practices against American consumers. The numbers are absolutely staggering, and they should make every American furious. According to the White House, Americans pay more than 3 times what other developed nations pay for the exact same brand-name drugs. We're talking about the same pill, manufactured in the same factory, shipped in the same packaging, but somehow Americans are charged 300% more than patients in Europe or Canada. What you're about to hear will make your blood boil. The United States has less than 5% of the world's population, yet we generate roughly 75% of global pharmaceutical profits. That means American families are literally subsidizing cheap drug prices for wealthy European nations, while we get stuck with the astronomical bills. President Trump's letter made this crystal clear. In case after case, our citizens pay massively higher prices than other nations pay for the same exact pill from the same factory, effectively subsidizing socialism abroad with skyrocketing prices at home. The president didn't mince words. He called this system for exactly what it is, a massive transfer of wealth from hard-working American families to foreign healthcare systems. The most favored nation policy that Trump is demanding is simple but revolutionary. It requires pharmaceutical companies to charge Americans no more than the lowest price they offer to any other developed nation. If they're selling insulin to Germany for $50, they can't charge Americans $300 for the same vial. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Trump isn't just asking, he's demanding binding commitments by September 29th. The letters specifically require these companies to, first, provide most favored nation prices to every single Medicaid patient immediately. Second, guarantee that they will never offer other developed nations better prices for new drugs than what they offer Americans. Third, cut out the middleman pharmacy benefit managers and sell directly to patients at international prices. And fourth, use any increased revenue from raising prices internationally to directly lower costs for American patients and taxpayers. The pharmaceutical industry's response has been predictable. Stock prices for these companies plummeted immediately after Trump's ultimatum became public. The NYSE Pharmaceutical Index dropped 3% in a single day. Companies like Pfizer, Eli Lilly, and Gilead saw their shares fall by 2% each. But here's what's truly remarkable. Some companies are already starting to crack under the pressure. AstraZeneca's CEO Pascal Soriot publicly admitted that the company has been working with the Trump administration and has already proposed price cuts for certain drugs in the United States. He stated, "There are issues around prices. I personally believe the president is right to say price equalization should happen." Similarly, British drug maker GSK confirmed they're in active talks with the Trump administration about ways to lower U.S. drug costs. This is unprecedented. For the first time in decades, these pharmaceutical giants are being forced to justify their outrageous pricing schemes. The deadline Trump has set is no accident. September 29th gives these companies exactly 60 days to respond with binding commitments. Not vague promises, not future considerations, binding legal commitments to end their price gouging of American families. And Trump made the consequences crystal clear. If you refuse to step up, we will deploy every tool in our arsenal to protect American families from continued abusive drug pricing practices. This isn't an empty threat. The federal government has multiple mechanisms at its disposal, including import policies, trade measures, and regulatory actions that could devastate these companies' profit margins. This builds on Trump's executive order from May 12, 2025, titled Delivering Most Favored Nation Prescription Drug Pricing to American Patients. That order directed the entire federal bureaucracy to take action against pharmaceutical price discrimination. The July 31st letters represent the escalation phase. Trump gave them months to come to the table voluntarily, and they failed to deliver meaningful solutions. The pharmaceutical lobby will try to claim that lower prices will stifle innovation, but that's complete nonsense. These same companies are already profiting enormously from sales in other countries at much lower prices. They're still investing in research and development, they're still launching new drugs. The only difference is they're not extracting unconscionable profits from American patients. What makes this fight even more significant is the bipartisan nature of the drug pricing crisis. This isn't about Republican versus Democrat. This is about American families versus corporate greed. Every single American, regardless of political affiliation, has been victimized by these pricing schemes. President Trump's 60-day ultimatum to Big Pharma represents the most aggressive action any president has ever taken against pharmaceutical price gouging. We're not talking about small adjustments or minor reforms. We're talking about a complete restructuring of how these companies price their products for American consumers. The September 29th deadline is fast approaching, and these companies have a choice to make. They can either agree to treat American patients fairly by offering the same prices they give to every other developed nation, or they can face the full weight of the federal government's regulatory and trade powers. This is President Trump delivering on his promise to put America first in yet another crucial area where previous administrations failed to protect American families. The pharmaceutical war has begun, and for the first time in decades, American patients have a president willing to fight for them against one of the most powerful industries in the world.